Wait, is this a half-decent GUI in a mod for Minecraft? No. Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm a Maxter. Today I'm looking at a mod by Ivorius called Recurrent Complex. It's a mod that's been featured in a lot of mod packs recently, and it's been getting a lot of buzz, and it's a very neat mod. I haven't actually seen anyone do a spotlight of it on YouTube yet, so I thought I'd do one and show you guys just what you can do with this mod. It's very useful if you're a server owner, a map maker, a mod pack developer, you want a tool to generate a bunch of structures and do a bunch of other stuff that can kind of randomize content for your players in a really neat and interesting way, and I'll dive into that a bit more into the spotlight and show you just what you can do with this mod. But first, let's take a look at the pre-built structures it adds that spawn in the world of Minecraft. We can see there's this, I have a house here, and just a note, I've set the spawn frequency of all these structures to be 10 times their normal frequency of the config. You can do that too, but yeah, this is not the default, just letting you know. It does not spawn structures everywhere. Though, if you want, you can do that, if that's your thing. So we have this small house, we have stuff like this. We have these gears in the desert. Obviously, a lot of these are biome specific. Some of these aren't. Their rarity is specific. And if you just look at these structures, you can notice something really neat about how they're generated. And that's that when they're generated, they're not cubic. They don't take chunks out of the land and look all unnatural and weird and stuff. They look integrated and they look like they're part of the world because there's a bunch of negative space. You can't see it because stuff's taken over, but there's a bunch of negative space that allows the biome to kind of sink in to the world. And I need to set the time to 0 because it's dark. That allows the land to kind of go into it, and you can even have a bunch of transformers, which we'll look at later, that modify the structure randomly. So these ruins, they don't always look like this. Like this vine won't always be here. It's randomly, lots of these effects are randomly generated after the structure has been placed in the world. So it's different each time, and it's a great adventure experience for your players. And the cool thing about it is you could even use it on a server without the clients needing the mod installed. It has a mode for that, a lightweight mode, where you can just have it generate the structures, and the players can just appreciate that, and they don't even need to have the mod installed. So if you're running a server for like maybe a pack that doesn't have this mod, like I think FTB Infinity, I don't think it has it, you could just have this mod on your server, and you wouldn't need your clients to install a mod. Very cool. Now let's get on to the rest of this video. We'll be looking at the custom structures and what you can do with them in this mod. So I've made this lovable dirt man here, and I want him to generate naturally in the world. So I'm going to get this block selector, and obviously I'm in creative mode because this mod is intended for creative mode. And if you try to use it in survival mode, you're going to have a bad time. So we right click to, it's like world edit, where you right click to select one point, and then we're going to control right click to get another point, but I can't because there's no block here. Good thing we have the floating block selector. And I'm just going to select that. And there we go. We have our selected area. That's uneven. My OCD is triggering. Oh no, not good. How about that? There we go. That's better. Okay, so we have our structure selected after we've built it. We're going to run a command. We're going to do /number. That's important. Export. And we get a GUI here that's really fancy actually and pretty well done. So first we have the structure ID. This is basically the name of a structure. Ours is a dirt man. And this is save in inactive or save in active. By default it's saved in inactive. What this means is it's not set to generate naturally, or it's not set to generate. If we save it in active, it'll actually generate now in the world, and the reason you want to do this is if you're working on a structure and you don't want people to see it yet, you want to save it in inactive, then when you're ready, you can save it in inactive. Whether it's rotatable, pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes if you have mobs in your structure, and yes, you can do that, or spawners or anything, but if you have specific stuff, it can get janky. So, but this can be rotatable just fine, and mirrorable, whether or not it can be mirrored or flipped. Ours is mirrorable. And any dependencies. These are dependency expressions. They're kind of complicated, and I'll link you guys to the wiki page where you can look at them for yourself. It doesn't take too long to get the hang of it, but I just, it's a bit unnecessary in this video. You can just read the wiki page and look at all the syntax there. Now we're going to look at generation. So by default, it has this natural generation, meaning it's going to generate naturally in the world, and we can edit that. We have all these criteria, the category, the idea of it. We don't have to worry about that too much. And the generation base. So right now it's on the surface. We can make it sea level, just how high it's going to generate. Again, self-explanatory. And the Y shift, if you want to change that a bit. And you can randomize it between those two values. So there's a lot of neat stuff like that in this mod where you can just make your own custom ranges. And yeah, because randomness is always good. And the weight. If you have a lot of structures and you just want this one to take precedent or in a series of structures, you can do that. The default obviously is 1, but we can change the weight and have it be special if we want. Then we have our biomes and dimensions. Again, these are expressions, but there's also some presets for you. So if you want to spawn in mainly oceans, you can do that. Underground, clear, let's just do overworld. And yeah, apply that. And then there's some dimension ones, and these work similar to biomes, but just obviously for dimensions. Next up, we have transformers. Yes, these are not Michael Bay transformers. These are good transformers, and I will show you what they are now. So by default, we have natural air, space, natural replace, all these. And natural air basically fills it in with air and gaps, like I talked about earlier. So it looks like it's part of the world. Space, similar. And then natural floor it gives a biome native floor, meaning depending on what biome it is, it'll be different blocks. If it's in a desert, it'll have sand underneath it and floor. This is more useful for like buildings and stuff, and kind of neat to make them look more natural. And then replace, and you can replace this with this is a block expression, as the tooltip says, and that's a block ID basically. So that's the ID number 1. I forget what that is. I think it's stone. I'm not sure. Kind of not too sure there. Anyways, you can change the also destinations. There's a bunch of stuff you can customize. Have it apply wool and all these transformers to it. Very neat. And oops, that's not good. Okay, so I think we canceled that. That's not good. But we're not customizing much anyway, so let's just save it as Dirtman, save it in active, and save that. There we go. Okay, so that's it to generate, and we'll notice it if we fly around the world. Eventually we'll see him, and we can change his rarity too in the settings, but for now let's just do that. Next up, we're going to look at structure lists, because you can actually have a series of structures, and I'll show you what they're useful for in a second here. So this is our He-Man. He's a variation of our Dirtman. So let's select him. That's his bottom corner. And now let's select his top corner. Control right click by default. And there you go. And I'm not sure I did that right. Hold on. Let's change this. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. /number export. And let's save him as He-Man. Now what we want to do, if we want him to be part of a structure, obviously we want to save him active, is we want to go to this here, and you might notice, I didn't touch on this earlier, there's different types of generation besides natural. We have static generation, which will generate at a X, Y, Z, or X, Y, and Y based coordinate, and your own dimension of your choosing. Pretty neat. And you can set it to generate at spawn if you want, even if you want a mod pack and you want players to have maybe like, I don't know, something cool at spawn, because why not? And you can do structure list, and that's what we're going to look at right now. So let's delete that and delete that and make this a structure list. So generation ID, let's not worry about that too much. The list ID, let's make that people, because this is going to be a shared ID by all the items in the list of structures, and we'll go over in a second what that list is actually used for. You can change the weight of it in the list, make it more common, more rare in the list, and the shifting of all these values if you want it to be a bit off-center. And of course, which side is the front? Let's just say north. We don't need to worry about that too much for the purposes of this. So let's edit our Dirtman so he can be part of this list too. Also, let's make him rotatable and marable. So let's delete that. We're going to make him part of the structure list. People. There we go. Let's save that. On maze components, we'll go over in a second. Don't worry. I'll do it. Okay, so we have those. Now, what are these used for? Good question, and I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm back, sorry about that. Life happens, something happened, I got a call. Anyways, we're back, and I told you, I won't leave you hanging. So here we have our structure generator. So it works kind of like a command block does, except instead of being activated with a redstone signal, it's activated when you generate a structure that this is in. And what it does is it spawns a structure given a list ID, so ours is people. And right now it's in simple mode, and we can do all this stuff, the front, shift, X, Y, Z. These are global settings for all the structures. Or we can do this, complex mode. So this gives us a bunch of generators, the rotation, we can randomize it if they're rotatable, and the shifts, and this is just a bit more settings, but you can just go with simple mode. So we're going to do the list ID, people, and yeah, so that's that. It's not doing anything. That's because we need to select it as part of a structure. And let's give it enough room to actually spawn the structure. So let's select an area around it. Make sure it's pretty big. So I'll select that. And then let's select that. So that should be enough size, I think, for one of our men. So what it's going to do is it's going to choose randomly. In our list, we only have these two structures. So it'll choose randomly between one of these, since they're both in the same list, and spawn them. So just a nice bit of randomness. So let's do that. So we want to export this as heyman or people random. Oh, we can't do that. That only works if you've already done the structure. So we want to export it and name it people random. And we don't need to make that inactive because we're going to be spawning it ourselves just for the purposes of this. So let's save that. And to preview your structure first, you want to do # whatever preview, and then the name of your structure. But it cannot preview for that. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's do /number gen people random. Oh, why are you doing this? Let's change that. It does look really pretty with the shaders, but we can't have it raining right now. Okay, so we want to do number gen people random. That means it's going to generate it, and first it'll give us a preview of what it looks like. It's not actually going to show the thing because the structure because it hasn't done it yet, but this is just a preview of the area of it. So let's do confirm, # confirm, and there you go. It shows the heyman. But it won't always be the heyman. Sometimes it'll choose the dirt man, sometimes it'll choose the heyman. And if we had more giant abominations, it would choose between those two. So yeah, and this is very neat if you just want like a town and you want it to look a bit different each time. So what you could do is you could have a bunch of buildings, and like on that street corner, it might not always be a bar. It might sometimes be, I don't know, it might be a shop, it might be something else. You could just randomize a bunch of content, and this is really great if you're doing a roleplay server or something, or just making a mod pack or whatever. Whatever suits your fancy. I'm not going to judge you. Yeah, we're going to look at mazes. Mazes, yes, mazes. This mod can randomly generate mazes, and that's very neat. So here I've built a series of basic maze components. So you're going to want at least 5 components, and these are very basic. I've just made them for the purposes of this, but you can make them as big as you want. You can customize them as much as you want. You can change them up. You can add your own stuff in them. You can do all that. You can even have structure spawning in your maze. I mean, how cool is that? So you're going to want at least 5 basic components, though, before you begin. First, you're going to want your corridor. So this is just a room or a component with 2 exits. And mazes or maze components are just parts of mazes, and they can have multiple rooms in them. But for our purposes, each component is just 1 room. So this is a corridor. It has 2 opposite-facing exits. This is a turn. It has 2 exits next to each other, like that. This is a dead end. It's just 1 exit. So if you're walking in a maze, you'll just walk into this and be like, oh no, I'm at a dead end. What do I do? And this is a 3-way exit, so if you want a little fork. And this is a crossing, so this is 4 exits, all of them. Neat. So these are very basic. So we're going to want to add each of these as maze components. So let's do that. We're going to select that. We're going to do /export. And then we're going to save it as something. Let's just save this as a maze corridor. We're going to want to save that in active so that it'll work. And we're going to make it rotatable and mirrorable because ours is. And for most mazes, you want to make it rotatable and mirrorable because your maze is going to look very boring if everything's always the same orientation. And then we want to change the generation. Let's make this a maze component. So let's add that. The maze ID, let's just do a maze. And yeah, we can change the rooms. This is 000 to 000. This is kind of complicated, but once you get your head around it, it's pretty simple. Basically what this means is it's like coordinates. Think of it that way. So this is one room, and each room is a unit. So on a graph, if you were just at the origin, say a three-dimensional graph, because Minecraft, you'd be here. This is the origin room. It's 0, 0, 0. Now, the reason there's that third coordinate is 3D is because you can make 3D mazes, but that's pretty complicated. You can look on the wiki for that. That takes a lot more work, but we're just going to look at how to make 2D mazes. 3D mazes, that's some crazy stuff right there. But this is 0, 0, 0. This is a basic room. And if we added, say, another room here to this corridor, like make it longer, so another section of it, this would be 0, I believe. It depends on, we're moving across the z-axis now, so this would be 0, 0, 1. And if we moved up, this is the x-axis, this would be 1, 0, 0. If you get what I mean by that. And there's a very useful infographic on the wiki also, because Ivorius is awesome and he thought of everything, and yeah, that's helpful if you want to look at that. So let's go back to this. So we do, if we want to edit continuing structure, we do edit, and ours is a maze corridor. So let's go back to that. It's now exits. This is basically a bit more complicated, and with the connectors, by the way, I'm not going to go over that right now, but male and female, you can guess. One goes into the other, and that's not intended to be funny, though some of you more perverse people might find it such. But this is just how these parts of the mazes connect. And also, these don't have to be mazes. You can make straights. You can do whatever you want. Anything that randomly generates structures like this, you can make anything. So we can shift this on the rooms. We only have one room. So 0, 0, 0 is the only room we can select. So it's that room, and which side is the exit? Well, we have two exits. And thanks to my mini-map that I can see that north and south are the two exits. So the first exit's north, so we have that. And let's add another exit. That's south. There we go. So if we save that, that's good. See, I'm facing north right now if you look at my mini-map. So there's an exit here, and then this is south. There's an exit here. So I'm not going to go over the rest of these. I'm going to do this off camera, and I will be back with you guys when I finish adding these maze components. Hey guys, I'm back, and I've done the Herculean task of adding all these maze components. I'm just kidding, it's not that hard. But I spared you the trouble of having to watch that. So these are all added, but we're not done with our maze yet, and also the day isn't done yet, so go back up, son. There you are. So we're going to want to make a maze container so that our maze can actually generate inside of something. Because having all these maze components is nice, but they need a home. So let's get some stone, because we've chosen that to be or stone bricks, because we've chosen that to be our de facto material. And let's make a maze. So what we're going to do is we won't be very careful when building this, because we want to consider how many rooms we want in the maze, by what dimensions, or like how many rooms basically. So like 3 by 4, meaning we have 3 rooms this way, 4 rooms that way. For this example, let's just do a 4 by 4 maze. So what we're going to want to do is we want to consider the room size. So the block size of these is 3. So each room, conveniently, all our things are cubes. So 3 is the size for each one, meaning if we wanted 4 in each direction, we're going to need to make it have 12 empty spaces in between these. Meaning we're going to have to build 14 of the stone bricks on each side, if my math is correct. Okay, there we go. We have built our maze thing. But we're not done yet, because we need a maze generator. So before we export the structure, we want to get a maze generator and put it in the lowest XYZ corner of the maze. And thankfully we have a mini-map so we can look at coordinates. So if I do some trial and error here, I can see this is lower because it's going to negatives and X, and this is lower in Z. So the lowest corner is here. We want to put it at the bottom, and there we go. So let's, actually, I think we want to do this. By default, it's going to generate it 1 above where the maze generator is. So we're going to want to shift the Y minus 1. And the maze ID, it's a maze in our case. And exits, so this is global. So this means which exits it'll have out of the maze. Like, how do people leave? So let's exit this GUI, and let's look at that and try to decide. So how about the exits north here in the middle? So let's make room for that. So let's do this. Let's cut a hole here. That'll be our exit. That'll be how our hero will find their freedom from this terrible maze. So yeah, we want to make sure that's correct. So let's find out which room that's in by using counting. 1, 2, 3, 1. That's one room. 1, 2, 3, 2. That's one room. So it's going to be this room. And now this takes a bit of getting used to, and it's very tedious, but it's well worth it. So let's go to exits. First we want to add our rooms. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's not a room range. The room range is 0, 0, 0, because that's where all rooms start. And we want to count as the coordinates expand. I know that sounds complicated, but don't worry. I'm there with you guys. So if we just think about it, since we have 4 rooms in each direction, the coordinates of the last room will be 3, 3. Why not 4, 4? Because our first number is 0, because that's how numbers work, right guys? So 0, 0 will be our first room, or 0, 0, 0. And our last will be 3, 0, 3, because we only have one Y plane, or one thing on the Y-axis. So let's go back to that. Rooms, let's edit. So 0, 2, 3, 3. There we go. We have our rooms. Yay. And if we go down, the room size is 3. That means the size of the structure. So for ours, the room size is 3. Yay, we can leave that as the default. Good job. Now exits. Our exit's facing north. And if we count, what room is it in? So this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Here we're moving up X. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 0. And this would be 2, 0, 0. Now I probably want to put this in the center of this room. So let's do that. That's a better place for it. So let's wait, I lost my place. Sorry about that. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. 2, 0, 0. That's the place. That's the room. That's what we want. So let's go here and let's go to exits and change this. So it's 2, 0, 0. Because the Z is the same, so is the Y. There we go. We can save that. Oh no. No, okay, okay. You know what? We're gonna promo this. We know what we have to do. Go to rooms. What is the room range? It is 3, 3. There we go. We're just beast moding this. Okay. And of course the exit is 2, 0, 0 north. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So we can do done. And now let's select this. We don't want to select this specifically. Oh, also we probably want to make walls, but I'm lazy. We just know it's 3, so let's make that should be good. And I guess you can imagine the walls. Imagine walls. Yeah. Okay, so right click that And then let's select this other corner. So control, and then we can shift click so we don't trigger this UI. There we go. Okay, we got that. I don't want a pig to be part of our maze, so sorry, you gotta leave. So do you, chicken. And we're gonna export that as a maze. Save and active, why not? Make it rotatable, whatever. And yeah, that's all we need to do. So let's see if our maze works. Gen a maze. We won't see the maze because it hasn't generated yet. We have to confirm it. So number confirm. And it sort of works. Oops, maybe. What did I do wrong? Hold on, I'll be back. Well, whoops. Turns out I was an idiot and I made a few mistakes. First off, do not leave grass or any other blocks in your maze area. It just gets, it's generated in the maze. You don't want that to happen. Also, what I messed up is you want the Y to be -1 lower. And the exit is 200 because you base it off the lowest XYZ. And yeah, I counted. So that's right. And, but I also built some walls. And, yeah, so the Y has to be -1 shifted. But I fixed it. And I will show you guys how it works now. So let's try it out. Gen a maze, and let's confirm that. And as you can see, it works beautifully. It is a maze. People can find this, find their way out. Now, right now it only has the way out or in, depending on how you want to look at it. But of course, you can add another exit, so people can go inside the maze and then come out of it. So very neat. Or if they can spawn in the maze if you want to do something like that and have to find a way out of it. Like, maybe you could do it for something like that. So that's neat. That's been mazes. You can look in 3D mazes a bit more in depth. We're not going to go over that right now, but again, you can look at that on your own time. Next up, inventory generators. Ooh, I'm excited for this. So let's get a chest or any storage thing. And let's get create new generator tag. So let's look at this, and also let's get some items we want to generate. So an inventory generator is just a thing you put in a chest when you're making a structure. So when you export the structure and save it, when it generates, the items in the chest will be randomized based on the inventory generator. Here's how we customize it. So let's place on a chest and let's get some items. Maybe it's Christmas and someone's been naughty, so let's get coal and charcoal. And let's get this item generation component tag and right click it. So we can name the generator, just name this test, and the group ID, coal things. And yeah, and of course we can add our own dependency expressions, meaning this will or will not generate based on if a mod is installed, if your structure is present. There's a bunch of stuff like that. Oh no, hold on. Rain, I hate you. I hate you, Rain. Okay, let's go back. So we have this. Let's make this test, and why don't we just make this test as well? So we have coal. We can add up to 4 items. Actually, we can add more than that. That's what that's for. But we can add our items, and we can change the min and max, meaning the minimum stack that'll occur and the max stack for each item. So let's just kind of randomize that a bit. Then the weight. So I think charcoal, let's make that a lot more common than coal. And save that. So there we go. Where can you find that? In the creative tab, it will actually make one for us. Since we did this, we'll now have a custom inventory generator somewhere here. There's already a bunch of pre-built ones that come with the mod. That are from vanilla that you can just experiment with. So let's put this in. When we generate, it'll work. But you know, I don't have a lot of time. I just want to test right now, so I can shift right click the chest, and there we go. We can see we have our beautiful coal and charcoal. Oh, and one more thing. This mod has a neat thing called the spawn command block. So as you might know, spawning a command block in a structure will not be very successful because it will not execute. because you can't apply a redstone signal when the structure generates. But now you can with this. So you can get to have a command, and you can even change the weight. So you can have multiple of these, which is very cool. And then just have some have more weight than others. This is very neat. So randomly generating command blocks with presets. That's amazing. And also, just one more quick thing before we wrap up, I want to show you, let's edit a maze. I forgot about this, there's metadata. Really cool. So if you're sharing your structure after you finished it, and you watch this amazing video on the Minecraft forums or somewhere, and you want there to be metadata in the file so people can see who made it, a link to your site, whatever, and a comment, description or whatever. So yeah, you can do that. That's very neat. And if you're making a mod pack, it's useful so people can see who made each structure if they feel so inclined. So that has been Recurrent Complex. Thank you for watching so much, guys. Thank you to the mod author, Ivorius, for being so helpful on my research of this mod to show you to you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this mod, and if you're a server owner or a mod pack developer or whatever, and you plan to use this mod, then that's awesome, and just let me know, because I'd love to see what you guys do with this awesome mod. Thanks, and that's all. Bye.